Hey ladies, are you feeling overwhelmed by hormonal changes? Well, you're definitely not alone. There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living in our environment right now. It's in your food, your water, the air you breathe, the clothes you wear, your skincare products. They all mess with your hormones. Then there's the natural hormone changes your body goes through, premenopause, menopause. And while it's a natural process, it doesn't mean you have to suffer through it. The good news is you don't have to suffer through it anymore because now you have Hormone Harmony, a formula made only with herbal ingredients that are shown to reduce hormonal symptoms in women of all ages. Hormone Harmony is not just a hormone supporting supplement, it's become a phenomenon. Women can't stop talking about it on social media. A bottle of Hormone Harmony is sold every 24 seconds. And the biggest benefit? Well, my wife says it makes her feel like her own self again. And that's what women mention over and over in the reviews. And there are over 30,000 reviews for Hormone Harmony. And for a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use code RLRC at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC for 15% off today. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC.
Got great ideas, but no idea how to build a website? Get Bluehost. Their AI design tool creates high-quality WordPress sites super fast. Whether you're a blogger, influencer, or launching a side hustle, Bluehost helps boost your growth with built-in marketing and e-commerce tools. Upgrade to cloud to get 100% uptime and 24/7 security to stay online all the time. Why wait? You've got the vision. Make it real. Visit Bluehost.com to get started.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Real Life Real Crime Daily for Monday, January 30th. I'm Jim Chapman.
I'm Woody Overton.
And I'm Mike Agavino. We talked about a new segment we wanted to do last week and decided, heck, we're going to do it. We're going to do it today. And we're going to talk about lady bad guys. And so Jim is going to talk us through our first famous lady bad guy, and we're going to go back in the time machine a little bit.
All right, y'all, we're going to talk about some lady bad guys, as Mike just mentioned. And today, our lady bad guy is Ma Barker. And I know y'all have heard of this.
Some of the kids may not have heard of it.
Well, you're right. And, you know, some adults even, likely. But in the 1920s and 30s, her and her sons pretty much terrorized America. So bad, in fact, that FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover described her as the most vicious, dangerous, and resourceful criminal brain of the last decade. That's how badass she was.
She was no dummy.
No dummy. Now, Barker's sons denied that she ever played a critical role in planning many of their robberies, kidnappings, and murders. But we want to give you a little history on Ma Barker, and you be the judge. Now, she was born on October 8th, 1873 in Ash Grove, Missouri. And according to legend, a young Barker witnessed firsthand the outlaw Jesse James.
Wow.
That's right. And his gang ride through her town. This event inspired her. It inspired her into a life of adventure outside the law. She looked at that and wanted to be it. And so eventually she got married and she produced 4 sons, Herman, Lloyd, Arthur, and Fred. And the family moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now, Herman was kind of the first one to be a bad guy. He got arrested in 1915 in Joplin, Missouri for highway robbery. Woody Everton, you ever arrest anyone for that?
No, it was a little bit after my time.
How do you steal a highway?
I'm pretty sure that they changed that to carjacking.
Okay.
Well, he got arrested for highway robbery, and over the next several years, Herman, along with his 3 brothers, they began just hanging out with hoodlums, like, you know, bad influences during that time. And Barker, she didn't discourage her sons from all these criminal enterprises and activities that they were participating in. Now, in 1927, Herman killed himself. He was trying to avoid prosecution after committing a robbery and shooting a police officer in the mouth. So he just kind of ended it. He was done.
That's one way to avoid it. Yeah.
That's what they said.
It's a permanent solution to a temporary problem,
That's
Herman.
what they said. Yeah.
So by 1928, the three remaining Barker brothers, they all eventually ended up incarcerated. Really, really bad group of folks. Now, things began looking up for Ma Barker, who was obviously probably depressed. All three of her surviving sons were in jail. And in 1931, Fred was unexpectedly released from prison. Now, Fred brought a friend with him from prison, a buddy he made in there. And his name was Alvin Karpis, known as Old Creepy, which that's right, Old Creepy. And he brought him home, and the two formed the Barker Karpis gang, and they used Ma Barker's shack as the hideout. Sounds like a movie, I know, but this was real life, y'all. Now,
do you think they form a gang and then announce the name of the gang? We've formed a gang. Here's our name. They've got a sign on the top of the house that says
even back
that's
then,
the headline. Nothing sells like sex and murder and robbery and shit like that.
Even back then, the media was sensationalizing.
Right. Bonnie and Clyde.
Check the Facebook page for the Barker Karpis gang.
There you go. So on December 18th, 1931, Fred and Alvin, they kind of started their little gang operation off, and they robbed a department store in Missouri. They took off, they were fleeing the scene, and they were accosted the following day by the sheriff, Roy Kelly, at a garage while getting 2 flat tires fixed. So Fred shoots the sheriff 4 times. 2 of the shots hit him in the heart and killed him instantly.
Nice.
So they're not nice guys, y'all. That event kicked off a series of crimes. They were robbing people, they were kidnapping, they were murdering people, and Ma Barker was officially recognized for the first time as the accomplice to the gang. And a wanted poster was produced, and they were giving $100 to anybody that could find them.
$100 was like $1 million back then.
That's right. In September of 1932, Arthur and Lloyd, they finally get released from prison, and they join Fred and Alvin, and they become a larger version of the
they rebranded
Barker Karpis gang, and they commit more infamous crimes. Eventually, they turn to bank robbery, which was big back then, and kidnapping and all of those sorts of things. And they were operating in a town where the sheriff was just as corrupt as they were. So he was kind of letting them get away with things. Look, you rob this bank, you slide me $100, I won't tell nobody.
I look the other way.
That's it. So in 1932, the gang, they robbed the Third Northwestern National Bank in Minneapolis, but this heist ended in a violent shootout with police. They killed 2 officers and a civilian, and they get away.
So you said Minneapolis. Well, at least they hadn't defunded the police.
That's right. Now, next, the gang successfully carried out the kidnapping of 2 local businessmen, and they netted $100,000 in ransom for the abduction of William Ham and $200,000 after arranging the kidnapping of Edward Bremer. So these guys were loaded.
Oh my God,
that's a lot of money back then.
That's like $1 billion.
That's $1 million.
They should have a private island in Belize. Yeah.
That's like kidnapping Johnny Carson or something back then. I mean, that's a lot of money.
You got away with it.
Yeah. So the FBI, they had some new technology, y'all, in this time, and it was called fingerprinting.
There you go.
And they connected the Barker Karpis gang via fingerprints. New technology. And Arthur Barker was arrested by the FBI agents in Chicago, and they find a map. And that map, basically belonging to him, shows where the hideout is for all those other guys. He actually had a map in his pocket of where the hideout was.
Warning to bad guys. Don't carry the map to the hideout.
And nowadays,
you're scared he would forget
your GPS or something, right?
That's it. So they were actually hiding out in Florida. So the FBI locates the house and confirmed that Ma Barker and Fred were on the premises. They were staking them out, right? So they surround the house, y'all. And a special agent in charge approaches the house, and he basically demands that the occupants surrender. After about 15 minutes, he hears a voice from the house saying, "All right, go ahead." Next thing you know, machine gun fire comes from the house. And these are the old machine guns. Yeah, Tommy. Y'all know how it does. And so the agents start returning fire. They have tear gas, rifles, machine guns. You know, they're loaded. They're like a military. 4-hour gunfight, Woody Overton.
Nice.
4 hours.
Long time.
That's a lot of bullets.
Yeah,
There's brass flying everywhere. Gunfire finally stops after 4 hours. The FBI waits. No more gunfire. So they think, maybe we killed him. The FBI, this is the best part of the story, y'all. The FBI actually grabs a local handyman named William Woodbury, and they tell him, we're going to give you a bulletproof vest. I swear this happened. We're going to give you a bulletproof vest, and we want you to go in the house and see if everybody's dead.
Yeah, that doesn't work for me.
What was that poor SOB's name?
Willie Woodbury.
Willie Woodbury.
Willie Woodbury.
Yeah. So Willie's ordered now. He's under orders from the FBI, so he's going to do it. Now, Woody, how would one go about ordering a handyman to go into a house?
I have no idea because that should never happen in my career.
Is that like under the same rule where you can,
go see if he's dead?
I would
like
grab some
commandeering?
crackhead off the street and say, now you got to go inside this. And, we've just been shooting out for 4 hours. Hey, go in there and let us know if they're dead.
Y'all, that is absolutely true. And so,
I'm pretty sure there's a policy and procedure came out after that shit.
Yeah.
Change.
You can't just order citizens.
I guess back then it was the like commandeering someone's vehicle. Same thing. You could also commandeer them to go in and make sure the bad guys were all dead.
I mean, they probably stood around there like, I ain't going in there. You go in there. And then we'll make this guy go in there.
Willie.
Poor Willie's painting a house next door.
Tell us what happened because I'm down in there.
Okay, so Willie basically says, all right, I'll go in. I'm ordered to do it. He slaps on the bulletproof vest. He goes in, and to him, it looks like everybody's dead. He goes back outside. He says, I think they're all dead.
I bet that motherfucker didn't go inside.
Stepped 1 foot in.
He was like,
he went to the garage.
It's all good.
So the agents enter the house, and they do announce that Ma and Fred Barker were both dead. Ma Barker died from a single bullet wound, and Fred's body was just absolutely riddled with bullets. Yeah. So Ma and Fred Barker's bodies, what do they do with them first? They put them on public display. That's right. This is why you don't rob banks. You end up dead. Yeah. And then they remained unclaimed, y'all. No one came and claimed them until October of 1935.
Really?
Yeah, relatives came by, picked them up, and had them buried next to Herman Barker at Williams Timber Hill Cemetery, located in Welch, Oklahoma.
I thought for sure Willie would claim them.
Yeah. You would think. So if you're traveling to Welch, Oklahoma, you can go check out the grave sites of Ma Barker and her son.
What town was the gunfight in?
The gunfight was in Florida.
I got something to say about this.
Ocala.
Oh, it was in Ocala?
Yeah.
I have no direct knowledge.
Disney World area.
I have no direct knowledge, but I've read it in a book or somewhere. Allegedly, Ma Barker was having sex with her sons. I swear to God.
Did you really?
I swear. It's out there because it's in my brain.
I didn't see that one coming.
Memory. Well, yeah. So, Ma Barker.
Google that maybe.
Yeah.
Let us know
Barker.
in the comments. Very good. Well, there you go. The whole moral of that story, y'all, is if there is a gun battle going on, get as far away as you can, or you might end up with a bulletproof vest on.
Yeah, I did say I had no direct knowledge, but I'm pretty sure Ma Barker's not coming back to sue me. But somebody else put that out there, y'all, not me.
Very good.
Well, I think we succeeded with lightening it up a little bit, which we needed. I'm going to continue along with that theme.
All right.
You guys like games, like doing game nights
Love
with
it.
friends when they come up?
Down.
Okay, so
very competitive.
Usually alcohol's involved, but
well, it is Saturday.
I got a 12-pack ice down in the truck.
Okay, I don't know why that's not in here, but I don't want to get kicked out of my son's basketball game later for unruly behavior.
If you do, you can come to my crawfish bowl.
But I've got a first for you guys. We are going to have our first of hopefully many, many serial killer quizzes.
All right.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 5 clues. Well, I'm not going to give you 5 clues. I'm going to start reading 1 clue at a time.
Okay.
If you believe you have the answer based on that clue, raise your hand.
All right.
Okay. I'll call on you. If you get it right, you win the question.
Mm-hmm.
If you get it wrong, you don't get to hear any of the other clues.
Right.
The other person will get to hear as many clues as they want before they give their answer. We have 5 total questions, okay?
All right.
So here is question 1, clue 1. This serial killer murdered 5 women. Second clue. The women he murdered were all prostitutes, and he mutilated their corpses. Clue number 3. The killer mocked the community and the police by sending letters outlining the attacks. He was never captured.
Oh.
You just broke my game. You guys, your hands went up at the same time.
Green River Killer.
Can I go to the video? Wait. What was his guess?
Mine, Green River Killer.
You're both wrong. The next clue would have given it to both of you. The murders happened in London's Whitechapel district in 1888.
We already know that.
Yeah.
Jack the Ripper.
Jack the Ripper.
Police, and the last final clue was the police surmised the killer was a surgeon, butcher, or someone skilled with a
Green
scalpel.
River.
We'll probably apologize.
We're thinking only the United States.
Yeah.
No. This is an international game, Jim.
Okay. You got me on that.
I didn't know they never caught Jack the Ripper.
Nope.
He's still out
assuming that he was a doctor.
I'm better
or
at
some
asking the serial killer questions than answering them. Okay, serial killer question number 2 with the score tied at 0-0. First clue. He started killing in 1978 at just 18 years old. Second clue. He mutilated his victims' bodies and put the pieces into a vat of acid to dispose of them. Jim has an answer.
Oh my gosh. The movie just
10
his movie
10-second limit.
Dahmer.
He's dead wrong.
Jeffrey Dahmer is the correct answer.
Boom! 1-0.
Well, you got me on that.
The rest of the clues were he killed 17 people.
I was going to say, he killed a lot more than fucking five.
He killed 17 people in total, mostly young men of color.
Yeah.
Fourth clue, he was arrested in 1991 after a would-be victim escaped and led police back to his home.
And everything else. That dude was
in
really
Milwaukee.
fucked up.
1-0.
That series is brutal. And the last clue was he's the subject of a very successful Netflix series in 2022 bearing his last name.
You got me, Jim.
Which you guys would have got. Okay, so it's 1-0.
It's only
I would have said all the victims and they've been eaten. But that's
Question 3. Clue number 1. He was executed by lethal injection in 1994. Clue number 2. He acted as a clown for birthday parties.
John Wayne Gacy. Sorry.
He's not.
I was about to say that I thought his hand moved first.
No,
Okay, so we give you that one. No, we give you that one. He got it. 1-1.
The
It was
correct
probably
answer
a
is
tie.
John Wayne
John Wayne
Gacy.
Gacy. That dude was twisted too.
The third clue was he was convicted of 33 counts of murder.
Buried them all in his yard and crawl spaces and everything
Clue number
else.
4, when his home was searched, police
And
found
he was a
nearly
painter.
30 bodies buried in a 4-foot crawl space under his home.
They end up tearing his shit down too.
Yeah.
The fifth clue, his first and middle name combined to form the full name of a Hollywood legend known as the Duke.
John Wayne.
Yeah.
He's another sicko.
Okay, so we're 1-1 going into question 4. Okay. First clue. He was eventually executed in an electric chair in 1989. Clue number 2. The Western U.S. was his hunting ground.
Theodore Robert Bundy.
Good looking man. He
Correct answer.
wore
Wow, you
a
guys got
sling
that.
to help get his college victims into his
I didn't even get
Big
through
serial
all
killer.
of clue number 2.
VW Volkswagen.
There you go.
Western U.S. was
VW
his hunting
Bone.
ground with an unknown number of murders piling up, mostly college-age women from Washington to Oregon all the way to
I
Utah
met
and
one. I
Colorado.
met one of his surviving victims at CrimeCon way back when, and about 5 years ago.
He was once arrested in Colorado and convicted of kidnapping, but he escaped custody, moving to Florida, where he killed multiple times again.
Florida State University.
He developed a fan base when he acted as his own lawyer during what is believed to have been the first televised murder trial. And the last clue was he shares a last name with the family featured in the TV series Married with Children.
Oh, I love that show.
Al Bundy was not.
I love Al
was not
Bundy
related to
sitting back
Ted
and put his
Bundy.
hands down his pants. Shoe salesman at his best.
Okay, did we call that a tie? Do we give credit to? I think that was a tie, wasn't it?
He probably said it first.
Tie. We'll
call it a tie. 1-1 still.
1.5 to 1.5.
Yeah.
So that makes this the tiebreaker. Okay, I do need to video this then because I've got to be able to break a tie here if we have.
We need a buzzer next time that lights up.
Yeah.
Just like on Family Feud.
Ding, your hands behind your back. Bing.
We will have a full Jeopardy set built in here for next time. In the meantime.
Imagine listeners are screaming at the answers before us.
Mike is improvising in the meantime. First clue on question number 5. He was a postal worker. 2. He was adopted by parents who raised him in Yonkers, New York. 3. He claimed his killing instructions came from his
dog, and his name is, oh my gosh, Sam. What? Sam.
That's not his name.
His name is David Berkowitz.
His name is David Berkowitz. I'll call it a tie if you can name the dog's name.
Harvey.
What he stole it. The dog's name was.
We'll give that one to Woody.
And I'm bad with names. Yeah.
2-1.
I ended with that question because we are going to do in our Crimes of the Century series, we're going to do the Son of Sam story.
Yeah.
Well, you win by one.
Next week, we're going to drop the Son of Sam story, as a matter of fact.
We have to make that a regular. That was a good shit. Hey, y'all, let me tell you about Gobble. All Gobble meal kits are pre-prepped. That means less work for you and less waste in your kitchen. Their meal kits include everything you need so you can save time at the store or just skip that trip entirely. I got the box in and I had 3 different meals. I had a Kung Pao chicken, crispy fish tacos, and a beef bourguignon, however you say it. But let me tell you about the classic beef bourguignon. Look, it came with beef pot roast and a beef broth concentrate, red wine demi-glaze, cremini mushrooms, cipollone onions, mashed potatoes, baby carrots, and rosemary thyme butter. It was so easy to make. Literally like 15 minutes it took Cindy. And let me tell you something. All the dishes were fire, but this thing was like a taste explosion in my mouth. It's just unreal. We got to spend more time together and more time doing the things we love because everything came in this one single box right to my door. So see what a difference Gobble will make for your household. Right now, they're offering my listeners a fantastic limited time deal. You get $120 off across 4 boxes plus free shipping and free cookies. And let me tell you, those cookies, I ate one that was sin baked and it was delicious. Go to gobble.com/real life. That's GOBBLE.com/real life for $120 off your first 4 boxes. This offer is not available on the home site, so don't miss out. This is genius. It's taste explosions in your mouth like you never had. Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts to spark joy, wonder, delight, and that's exactly what I wanted feeling. Hey, y'all, I ordered a super cool piece. It's a candle with a sculpture of LSU's Tiger Stadium on top of it. And each officially licensed laser cut wooden replica features up to 4 layers of detail, creating a bird's eye view of a specific football field, seating section, and more. And every label includes your stadium's name, the team's logo, and school location. And it has a coconut, soy, vegan wax infused with sandalwood smell that creates tailgates and touchdown scent profile, reminiscent of game day. It's invigorating like fresh cut grass and nostalgic like smoke from a pre-game grill. And calming like the crisp autumn air of a new semester on campus. Y'all, I love it. I have it at the base of my TV and I'm ready to watch the Tigers play on Saturday night, right? Uncommon Goods. Look, when you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. And many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches. So shop now before they sell out this holiday season. Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the U.S. They have the most meaningful, out of the ordinary gifts anywhere. They even have gifts you can personalize. From holiday hosts and hostess gift to the coolest finds for kids to hits for everyone from the book lovers to diehard sports fans. Uncommon Goods has something for everyone, not the same old selections you can just find anywhere. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $3 million to date. So to get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/RLRC. That's uncommongoods.com/RLRC for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary.
Okay, folks. So our next little segment here is some news out of Memphis, Tennessee that I'm sure you've been glued to, and if you hadn't and you need to be caught up, let me catch you up real quick. On January 7th at approximately 8:30 p.m., some officers pulled over a vehicle for suspected reckless driving. Now, a confrontation occurred between officers and the vehicle's driver, which was later identified as Tyre Nichols. What essentially happened, the officers approached the vehicle. A fight ensued. There were 5 African-American officers involved in this, and Nichols runs, obviously. And he fled. The officers apprehend him, and another confrontation occurs, resulting in his arrest. Now, an ambulance was called to the scene of the arrest, and Nichols immediately starts complaining of shortness of breath and those sorts of things, and he was transferred to a nearby hospital. He was in critical condition at this point. 3 days later, he succumbs to his injuries. So that's a synopsis of what occurred.
Man, wait until you hear about confrontation, what that actually means.
Man. So we heard from Memphis Police Chief and from the mayor of Memphis that they were going to release the video evidence from this case, which involved a number of videos from street cameras, videos from cameras on the vests of the officers involved.
4 cameras.
And that they were going to release these videos at 7 p.m. Eastern time on Friday night, which for us taping here now is last night. You're hearing this
Mike,
on Monday
didn't you
morning.
get the feeling it was like a movie premiere or something, you told me? I mean, they built up the hype of the release of this video. I think that's an important part of this story.
I spend a lot of time studying these things, and I'm when they happen, and this week it was just this unbelievable week where we have 11 people murdered just outside of Los Angeles, and then we have another 7 people murdered in Northern California. Right. Both crimes involve Asian victims and elderly Asian men committing the crimes, and then you have this story out of Memphis, and I bring them all together because they're. A lot of the early press played these as race crimes, even though we have, in each case, we have Asians that are killed in the 2 California murders, and in each case, the person pulling the trigger is an Asian. And here in Memphis, we have an African American victim, and we have 5 African-American police officers. And so it struck me the way the media was handling things early. So I really wanted to pay attention to what was going on. And the behavior out of Memphis confused me. In the end, I came to understand it and understand how smart it truly was. And I believe as we sit here, it saved lives. No way to estimate how many lives it might have saved, but I think it saved a lot of lives, and here's why. So yes, the C.J. Davis, the police chief, and Jim Strickland, the mayor of Memphis, were making rounds, like doing the talk show circuit like you would if you had a movie coming out
like a premiere.
That week, a premiere on Friday night at 7 p.m. And all I could think of when I was watching all of that was that we were going to have a massive night of violence. They're promoting all of this and telling the entire country to watch it on their phones or on television at 7 o'clock on Friday night. But I didn't realize how smart they actually were. First, they did the immediate and necessary maneuver of terminating the officers, arresting the officers involved, and charging them with Tyre Nichols' murder, which diffused a lot of the potential anger that might come out of releasing a video. But as much as they warned us, and C.J. Davis said in every appearance, and I watched several of her appearances, that this video, in her opinion, was at least, if not more, shocking, more egregious than the Rodney King video from the early 90s. And having now watched the videos, the video's much worse than the Rodney King video. So if you haven't at this point and you want to go watch them, just know going in that you're going to be pretty appalled by what you see.
And it's not just video, y'all. They have the proof of the language that was being used by these officers and different stuff. I mean, it's just bad shit.
So some of the thinking about a 7 p.m. Friday release was to make sure people had gone home already, and therefore that, it wouldn't be easy to assemble. They wouldn't be as easily tempted either because they'd already be home and be comfortable. And so that was one of the things that C.J. Davis communicated. I think it also made it more likely that they would watch on a TV and therefore have an experience that was more curated by a news organization rather than, because I think if you just watched these videos in their rawest form on social media, it would incite violence in a different way than watching them with your preferred news anchor interpreting for you what was happening. I also think that Tyre's mother, Rovon Wells, and her stepfather, Rodney Wills, were unbelievably courageous and heroic in how they handled and how they communicated everything. And it was abundantly obvious when you saw them on camera that this was a really good family, that this was a mother who loved her son deeply, and it just made it all the more tragic. But with her out in front of it and her preaching for people to not react with violence. If you want to protest peacefully. And so you have the mother of the victim, because we know in so many of these cases, you've got a screaming mother or uncle or brother all crying for everyone to hit the streets. In this particular case, we have a devastated mother whose 29-year-old son has been taken from her in a brutal act of violence, and she's calling for calm and calling for peace. Do you think, Woody, do you think the fact that the family didn't exacerbate the situation or incite violence played a role last night?
I'm going to tell you what, I think this, and you can ask my son, 12-year-old, I said, what do you need to have a fire? He said, you need spark, air, and fuel. And this happened at the beginning of January. First of all, they take away a lot of the spark and everything when they not only fire the officers, they arrest them and charge them formally. And then they get out in front by releasing these videos. This is well thought out, y'all, and advertising, like Mike said, almost like a movie premiere, and you're going to watch it at home. And then on top of this video being so horrible, you get the family, the mom, to stand up and say, hey, you know what? Assemble peacefully if you want to. But hey, basically she's saying, if I'm not going to go tear something down, you don't go tear something down. It's my son, right? I think it's a genius move. I hate to call it that, but it was a genius move. But God bless her for doing it. But you better believe that she talked to the police and everybody ahead of time, and she knew what she was going to say, and rightfully doing so. And I don't care if they were African-American cops or white cops or whatever, they're pieces of shit. When you go watch all this shit and listen to everything that was said and was done, it's absolutely horrible. Doesn't matter what skin color they are. Fuck them. They should be in jail. But to answer your question, yes, I think it played a huge role in it. But not only what she did, but everything they did, from the firing to the arrest to releasing the video. Hey, we don't have anything to hide. We're going to show you the worst we got. And the mama's saying, hey, do it peacefully. Well,
and again, it's Saturday as we're recording this, so let's hope that tonight is also a night of peace.
And I think they will. I think they've learned. Law enforcement has learned from all these mass protests and all the bad shit that's happened in the past. They've learned, and there's certainly no guarantee they're not going to burn Memphis and everywhere else down tonight, but they've learned to get out in front of it by being honest and transparent, and even setting up to this point where you're taking away the spark in the air, or at least the fuel. Right. You're taking away some of the components that would have burned Memphis down.
Thank God they did. And it probably would have burned a lot more cities than just Memphis. I couldn't help, as I was watching the videos, I couldn't help but compare in my mind what I was watching to what I watched in the George Floyd incident. Yeah. And, with Floyd, you had a career criminal, you had an extremely large human being, muscular, strong human being, and you had a human being who was resisting arrest and a difficult to corral person because of his size. Tyre Nichols.
Hey, for the record, they murdered George Floyd. Fuck them. But you're right. Yeah, I get it. He resisted originally, but however minutes on the neck and all that shit, and him calling for his mama, whatever, that was bullshit. But go ahead. You're right.
Yeah. I'm sorry. No, the case has been adjudicated.
Yeah.
But I couldn't help but notice
absolutely
the differences here, because you have Tyre Nichols, somebody being pulled over for reckless driving. And by the way, there's no video evidence yet that's been made available that shows his car driving recklessly down the street before he was pulled over. That may materialize, but we don't have it.
One of the part of the audio that they did say, one officer said to another officer, he must have been on something because he was weaving in and out of traffic, or he's driving crazy. Well, whatever, right?
Nichols is a 29-year-old man with no prior record. He's, I don't know, maybe 160 pounds soaking wet. One of the things that struck me immediately is when he started talking, you knew just from the way he was talking that this was not some gangbanger, career criminal. He's not threatening the cops. He's not using curses, and he's saying, I just wanted to go home.
Yeah.
That's literally what I just want to go home.
Yeah.
And even in a reckless driving, and believe it or not, I was pulled over once for reckless driving, so I have credibility in this answer. The officer's going to come to your door, and they're going to ask you for your license and registration, and they're going to ask you why you were driving the way you were driving, or if you're aware. And it's not going to start out confrontational. It's going to start out the way it's supposed to start out by the book. In the video, this is like the opening kickoff of a football game. These 5 guys who were part of some sort of special unit called Scorpion,
Right.
Which I want to get your thoughts on special units like that in a second, Woody. But here he is. He's saying, I just want to go home. There are tons of F-bombs and tons of threats, but they're all being made by the cops.
Yeah.
He's asking, what did I do? At a point after we're watching officers take roundhouse kicks at his head. We're watching them pummel him with punch after. I don't know what the tally was on the number of times this guy was struck, but I heard someone say this morning after watching the kick that that's not even a legal move in UFC.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
What they did.
Definitely not a legal cop move.
To this guy. So, it felt like I was watching Denzel Washington in Training Day. I mean, that's what this was. They attacked, and when he ran away before the second confrontation, I literally believe, watching the video, that he was running for his life. His instinct was, these guys are going to kill me if I don't get away. And so, unfortunately, they caught back up with him. I don't know at that point if he was so injured that he wouldn't have survived it anyway. But unfortunately, they do find him. So, Woody, have you ever seen anything like this before? And is there a different sort of code of conduct if you're part of a special unit like it's not like being a Navy SEAL or an Army Ranger?
The special units that's a task force, and Baton Rouge has theirs, and the sheriff's office has theirs, and a lot of times they work in conjunction. And basically, they're targeting high crime areas. Sadly, he's a victim of profiling. They stopped him for whatever they say, reckless driving. And they probably think, here comes another dope dealer, profiling his vehicle, whatever it was, and they pull him over. Now, where they really fucked up is from the beginning. I used to teach this to all the cops. I would say, listen, you always start out low and soft. I said, because if you start out high, you can't back down. It's going to shit, period. You can never start out hollering and screaming and it's going to back down. So you start out low, license, registration. That's why we stopped you. You observed him, et cetera. In this case, they just got on his ass. And I think the SCAT teams or these specialized units that are sending into these high crime areas to simply make arrests and get bad guys off the street, they got their own cat this time.
De-escalation is a real thing. And police officers and all departments are trained on how to de-escalate situations. If, the issue is 99.9% of police officers are good people, and they're out there and they're defending people they don't even know. They're standing in the way of gunfire. They're running into houses when, people are getting stabbed, and we cover a lot of crime around here, and 99.9% of them are good people.
Absolutely.
But there are situations where police officers get a badge and they become big-headed or cocky or I'm in charge here, right? And that can put you in a real bad situation real quick. If you're a John Q. citizen and a police officer pulls you over and he says, let me see your driver's license, and you got to reach for it, and he says, what are you doing? Put your, and he freaks you out. You can be someone who's never been arrested in your life, never done anything wrong, and you are instantly on the defense due to the way that cop reacted, police officer reacted. And that situation can turn real bad real quick, because as human beings, when any of us, when we feel we're being backed in a corner, it's
fight, flight, or freeze.
Yes. Yeah. And if you're someone that's a fight type personality, it's going to turn real bad real quick. It's easy to look at this and say this is a training issue and they need to be taught, how to de-escalate quicker. This is just an example of a bunch of arrogant, cocky pieces of shit who went out there and killed a guy for nothing.
Yeah.
And they had a badge, and they thought they were going to get away with it because they had a badge and because they were members of this specialized unit that was esteemed. And it's disgusting, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, they beat him, they tased him, they beat him with batons, they kicked him in the face. They did everything that's against the book. And certainly the chase and all that, their adrenaline was up, but once the ass whooping started, they continued on. And I submit to you, they've done it probably 1,000 times before, and they always got away with it. They didn't know this gentleman was going to die, unfortunately. And if he hadn't died, he'd just gone to the hospital. It'd just be another lawsuit. He said, she said.
Well, absolutely. Jim, you make some really good points. I think in 2022, there were 20 black people killed while in police custody for the entire year. And that's not saying in each of those cases officers were found to have been in the wrong. There were just 20 incidents that involved a black person dying while in police custody. Here, we have such a disgusting situation that, and with what the media does today, because it's the media's job, the way things get delivered, the way they get sensationalized, how long these videos will live on forever. This group, we already know how difficult it is for police departments to retain the officers they have, how difficult it is for them to recruit new officers.
Who wants the job? Yeah.
Something like this stains the 16-year-old kid who's sitting thinking, maybe I want to be a police officer, and watches these that's the kind of impact. I mean, let's hope that sanity continues to prevail, and by the time you hear this on Monday, there hasn't been 2 nights of violence associated with this, but the damage caused here in terms of the faith and trust in police, because of just how brutal this is going to be significant at a time where the country can least afford for it to be. And that's just really sad.
Absolute tragedy, and hearts go out to Terry's family, and unbelievable.
All right, so that's going to be about all we're gonna discuss today. If you enjoyed what we're doing here at Real Life Real Crime Daily, please share, like, comment, do all those sorts of things. It really helps to get the episodes out there. And we will see you again on Wednesday. I'm Jim Chapman.
I'm Woody Overton.
And I'm Mike Agavino.
For Real Life Real Crime Daily, peace.
Shabusiness.
Shabusiness.